What's up? Welcome to the Moreton Bay Triathlon Race Report. As you can see, I'm clowning around. It's a fun race. I'll try and keep it a fun race report vlog for you. It was really strange me getting psyched up for a race that I was using as a training race when there was World Championships going on, the long course. Incredible racing by the women. Chelsea just coming out and being like, boom, first mother to be world champion at Kona, and dropping such a ridiculous runtime. Amazing to see Lucy coming back with another second place after her injury. I honestly didn't think she was going to make world champs this year with her injury. I don't think she knew that either. Or I don't think anyone really expected that, so that was sick. I rooting for Gustav this whole time, and then he wore a pair of Ons, and I was like, bruh, you're winning now. I'm not sponsored by On. I've tried so many times. I just can't get sponsored by him yet. I'm not sure what I've got to do. I'm on my way to getting there because I've refused to run in anything else since 2013. I've been in a pair of Ons and haven't put any other brand of shoe on my feet. So if you can hook me up with a pair of Ons, let me know, because I'm already wearing them and I love them so much. Like the ethics, the feel, the support, the speed, the everything. Let's get me sponsored by On, please. Another incredible performance by Christian. I don't think he had a bad day. I just think the others had a really good day. Christian's been dominating all year, last couple years, and he doesn't win a race and everyone's like, what's wrong? He got third at World Champs. There's nothing wrong. He just got outclassed by an impressive race by Sam Laidlow. Did not see that coming at all. Weapon of a bike. And I'm kind of stoked he was able to live up to the hype he set at the PTO race when he had that interview with Sam and Lionel. And I was like, who is this guy? Why is he so cocky? That's why he's so cocky. He might not be cocky, he just came across a bit cocky, but it worked at Kona. But my favourite performance of the weekend was Maxi Newman. I remember racing Max in 2016 being like, oh my god, this guy is a lead. And didn't really know if he'd raced at all. Racing him at Sunny Coast a couple of weeks ago, I was like, yep, he's pretty good. He won Cairns to get to Hawaii and then just dominated Hawaii. 4 minutes off the win, and I think 7 minutes faster than the previous world Kona record. So it's just incredible, and obviously Aussie pride there a little bit too. Had really good weeks after Sunny Coast, getting ready for Moreton as a training race. A little bit shorter, so I wanted to be a little bit faster, obviously. Then we're going shorter again in a couple of weeks for Noosa, so faster again. I love the club races and I love coming back to QTS because it's where I've pretty much started coming up through age group racing, and provided me so many opportunities and everyone so many opportunities. So it's good fun to get out there and get amongst club level, state level racing, and it's no better training than racing. So I do enjoy that. I knew I was super fit. I just had to be fresh because leading into Sunny Coast, I took on those extra 15 hours a week of swim coaching. After Sunny Coast, the swim coaching had ended up 2-week block. I've now started 16 hours a week at Movement Tweed. So I've stacked on an extra 16 hours of work a week, doing 50-hour work weeks, 30-hour training weeks, and not enough sleep. I've also just finished Why We Sleep by Matthew Walker, and I've just handed in my resignation for Bounce, which is my Saturday job. Handed in resignation for Miami Gym night shift close, and with Joey at Ultimate Sports backing down to just one night a week there. That's how much of an impact this book has had on my life. The importance of my 8 hours sleep is insane. As soon as you read Why We Sleep, you'll understand why I've just pretty much left 3 jobs. Also happen to be getting 16 hours at Movement Tweed and 4 hours a week swim coaching. So I'm getting 20 hours a week of work. I'm speaking to everyone, and after reading the book, I only need to work as much as I need to work. 20 hours a week at roughly $30 an hour. That's enough to pay bills, get me to races, and then have a little bit of a life after that. I don't need to do that extra 20 hours of work to try and have a holiday when I don't get to enjoy life at the moment because I'm too tired. So that's kind of where I'm at. And with all this work that's been happening the last lots of weeks, I've been still training but not really sleeping, and I'm feeling insanely fit, fast and strong. I just haven't felt fresh. I felt horrendous. So I knew that if I could freshen up for the race, and if I could be fresh for Sunny Coast, it would have been even better. But knowing that I'm not ill, my body's feeling pretty good. I even managed to freshen up a little bit for Moreton Bay too. So I knew I was going to have a pretty good race. I saw the start list and I was like, perfect, Sam's in here. Great swim bike battle. I saw Johan was on the start list, but he was doing sprint distance. Otherwise it would have been just keep up with Johan as much as possible. But yeah, wet weekend, another one. It's been wet nearly every weekend, and apparently it's going to stay that way. So I might as well get used to it. Thankfully, I did get used to it because I stayed at Michaela's nan's place, which is about 2 kilometers from the race start. So I decided to ride down in my wetsuit. Volley wetsuits are mad awesome. Not for riding in. You feel really weird on the seat, and it's like the wetsuit sticks to it a bit. It's just really unsafe feeling. Also a little bit unsafe is my race wheels in the wet. Being carbon rim brakes, they're not useless, but they feel almost useless. You have to brake much earlier coming into a corner and hold them before they start gripping. They just slide across before they get the friction going, which is great that I got to practice that riding to the race, because otherwise I would have hit the first U-turn way too hard and I probably would have went straight. Thankfully I knew how much to brake. Then we racked at 5:15, we were all lining up to get in. I got prime rack spot, got all that sorted, even have enough time to go for a little bit of a warm-up jog, which is pretty much just an excuse to run up the street to go use the public toilets that were vacant because everyone was using the portable toilets at the race. I've been to enough of these races to know that and where the toilets are. That's a thing with me. I know where all the public toilets are, and I know to go for a run away from the race venue to go use them. So I did that. I even got a really good swim warm up too. So I felt super calm, relaxed. I was nice and warmed up. Everything was tick, tick, tick. Perfecto. We got to the race start line, and after the swim warm up, the water was amazing. It's the first time I've ever been in clean Moreton Bay water. I'm not in Moreton Bay very often. I'm pretty much only up there for the race when I'm swimming there. And it's always very not pleasant. It's always windy too. Thankfully, we only had a lot of rain, not a lot of wind, and the wind was a little bit offshore too, so it kept it nice and calm, clear water, which was really surprising considering the rain. So it was beautiful swim conditions. The thing with Moreton Bay though is you need to be a tall athlete. Either side of me, I had the 2 tallest men in triathlon. I had Max and Sam. They're like 190 centimeters tall, I'm 180. They're probably taller than 190, I'm not sure. But I look like a child next to them. I'm just standing there doing these ones on the start line. And then as we run into the water, the difference is insane. As you can see in this video here, as we take off, I get a really good start. Thankfully, I've been nailing my speed and power, so I've got a great start into the swim. But we had to porpoise for about 100 meters to almost that first gate of buoys to get through before we could start swimming. Not that we couldn't swim earlier, but it was just knee to waist deep for so long that it was quicker to porpoise but more energy expenditure to porpoise. So it was okay. It was fast. I managed to get on to pretty much 3 of us, which ended up a pack of 4. As we went out, we went around. It was a 2-lap course, all right-hand corners, pretty much just a big prism. We went along and then we turned to head back to the shore, and I'm not sure whether whoever was leading the race thought that was just 1 lap or what the go was, because they surged so hard and dropped me and the 4th guy in the pack, and I I knew Sam's wetsuit, but I didn't know the other guys' wetsuits or who they were. So I knew that this guy and Sam had broken away, and I was like, damn it, I needed to be on Sam's feet in the swim so I could try and hold his wheel on the bike. We turned, and they must have realised that there was another lap. I'm not sure if they knew or not, but their pace eased off, and I felt really good. So I swam strong, turned the buoy back out, and I felt really strong, so I kicked again and got back on their feet, thankfully, for the long straight, and then headed back into shore. Pretty much was another sprint into shore this time, for real. And exited the water. We got to the water edge enough that it was deep enough to start running. I was like equal fourth place or third place. I was fourth, last in the pack. Ran into second, running to my bike. Had an amazing transition, ripped my Volleyball wetsuit off, got onto the bike first, and it was myself, Sam, and I feel so bad. I don't know his name. He's the guy in the Zwift triathlon kit. Yeah, I'm sorry, I don't know your name. Just don't pay attention to names, really. But we had a great 20 kilometres, even 25 kilometres probably, of swapping some good turns. But it was really strange because the wind was swelling, so heading out Hornibrook Ridge was tailwind when I was leading it, then headwind like coming back into town. Then heading back out on the bridge the second time was a headwind, and then tailwind back into town. And then the third time heading back out on the bridge was a tailwind again, but then tailwind back in, and I'm not sure what the wind was doing, but you could feel it. It was 50k an hour, 35, 50, 35 kind of thing. So there was definite wind just swirling around. It was also wet and very busy after the second lap, just because of the wet, narrow roads, which made it not very fun. I get the point of having everyone on course at one time. It's great to use each other and push each other, but it is very dangerous in the wet. Obviously, road closures, there's not much options for event organisers. It's just up to the athlete to make sure that the quickest way to get around the race course is to not fall off your bike. So that becomes quite a priority rather than trying to maximise angles and speed coming through corners. So that's pretty much what I did. And then Kieran passed us. Kieran just is a mental bike rider. I went to go with him. Up until Kieran caught us, I think I was holding 270 watts for the first 20 Ks. And then after that, I was holding 340 to try and go with Kieran, and I lasted about a minute. He dropped me, Sam went with him, and then 5 Ks later, Sam got dropped as well. So then it was a broken bike effort, and we came off the bike in that order. It was Kieran, a bit behind was Sam, maybe like a minute behind was Sam, and then a minute behind Sam was the guy in the Zwift dry suit and myself. I had a great T1, T2, socks on for the run, but felt strange because they were wet from the rain. I wanted to try without socks, but I didn't want to get blisters, so I figured I'll be sweet. I backed myself on the run and knew I was running really well. Went out, and Dad said about a minute behind Sam, which is great. I wanted Dad to give me times to Sam because in my head Kieran was kind of too far out of the race. I just want to know where Sam was, and if I pass Sam quick enough, then I want to know where Kieran is, and I'll just hunt the pack from there. We headed out, and I felt pretty good, breathing in my nose, out my mouth. Felt really controlled. That was my game plan. So I was going to be in my nose for like the way out to hold me back a little and not go too hard from the start. So I was holding 330s, mid 330s, doing that. And I got to this sign that says run turn, and I'm like, oh, that's where we must turn while we're doing the run course. I asked the young girl standing at the sign, I was like, oh, is this where I turn for the classic distance? And she's like, oh, I don't know, this is the turnaround for the run. And I was like, oh, okay, I'm running, that's where I must turn. I checked my watch and it was 2 and a bit kilometers, and I was like, I'm pretty sure the run turns at 4 kilometers. This is so strange. I don't know what's going on. Have they shortened the course? Have they made it 3 laps of this course? I really had no idea what was going on. And then as I ran back, the guy in the Zwift kit, I was like, bro, what are we doing? Is this where we turn? Do we turn up there? And he was like, I'm pretty sure it's 3 laps of this. And I was like, oh shit, okay, I guess we'll do 3 laps. I got back to, and Kieran had done this as well, but Sam didn't. Sam had kept running, and I was like, oh, what? I think Sam's missed the turn. So I got back into near the start line, and there was a sign saying classic distance 2-lap run course, and everyone's how many laps we had to do. So I realised that wasn't our turnaround. Sam must have known what was going on, and there was a run turn that we couldn't see another 2 kilometres up the road. So I was a little bit bummed. I pretty much knew from that point that I would be out of the race. And I wasn't too mad about that because there wasn't an opens category. I had to race in the age group bracket, which is my first time in 25 to 29 age group, which is a little cool thing. So I was, I knew I wouldn't be on the official finishing list. I was happy to get disqualified. I didn't do the official course. I got it wrong. I wasn't confident in myself to keep running to the 4 kilometres. Definitely not the fault of this poor young girl giving up her Sunday morning in horrendous weather to make sure people are turning around for their race, which was the sprint distance at this sign. We've got to know our course. It's up to us. We spend all this money racing, training, buying equipment, entering races, traveling to races. It takes nothing to know the course, and we're just too lazy to properly know the course. I have no excuses. I just stuffed up. So I ended up running all the way out to the proper run turnaround, and by this stage, everyone else doing that distance got it. I just didn't. So we ran out there, and then I decided that for my watch and for myself, I would run the distance that I missed the first lap. So I turned around at that sprint distance turnaround, and then ran back out to my turnaround, and then came back. That way I'd ran the bit I missed up and had done the distance, just not in the course specific way. I was actually running that well. I almost contemplated doing another lap, a half marathon PB, because 15 kilometres I averaged 3:33 per kilometre while nose breathing. So after the first 2Ks I got quite comfortable. My legs adapted after being off the bike and was just inhaling, exhaling all through my nose, which is a testimonial to Brett getting me all these breath exercises, Brett the breath guy, helping me out there, and my fitness coming up, everything just ticking boxes, running really strong. Brett did an activation on me on the Friday before I headed up, and pretty much just helped me, gave me some mindset things to do, concentrate on power from the glutes, and pretty much did that and went really strong, really comfortably. So super stoked with everything except stuffing up the race course. I know I'm in great fitness. I know I'm fit, I'm fast, I'm fresh now. I've just left about 12 hours of work a week, which is so strange because 6 months ago I was hustling to try and find 12 hours. Now I've just cut 12 hours of work out, and I've still got 20 hours plus of work. So it's all really cool beans heading into Noosa, and I'm so keen. I already know that Jake Birtwistle and Max Newman are on the start list, and just to be on the start list with guys of this caliber is the dream, really. So I'm living, breathing the dream, and I'm happy days. So I'll see you after Noosa.